Video there. Looking at what we have going on with our weather, we actually have a really typical June weekend ahead, our first weekend of June, but we also have a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. This is Arlene, and notice even if you just look at this loop, which goes back 12 hours with radar and satellite here, you can see that the rain is even diminishing around this low pressure center. There is some off over Florida, and that is partially fueled by the heating of the day here, along with some wind, so lake and sea breeze effects over there. But we do have our winds still set at 40 miles per hour. That's from the National Hurricane Center. But like I was showing you earlier, that was on the northern side of the system by about 50 or 60 miles. So I would say this is barely a tropical storm. It is not going to last very long, I think. You can even see it just if you glance at radar that it's weakening and it's moving to the south. So we will likely see this drop back to a depression or even a remnant low, maybe as soon as this evening and tonight and then into tomorrow. There's a lot of dry air showing up in the oranges here. There's also a lot of wind shear, so this will just kind of shred this system apart as it moves to the south. We also have a surface high pressure out here, and we have seen around these features some slightly drier air in our part of Louisiana and Mississippi. Still a hot day with our high temperatures around 90, but we are looking at that surface high, again, kind of bringing that humidity down just a bit with those winds mainly from the north or northeast. Now, something I wanted to talk about quickly when we're talking about a depression versus just now becoming a storm with Arlene, a tropical depression has winds of 38 miles per hour or less. Once you get to 39 miles per hour or higher, that becomes a tropical storm. So those 40 mile per hour winds, that is again just barely at a tropical storm. You need a few other ingredients, but this is just for wind speed. Of course, when you get to 74 miles per hour or higher, that's when it becomes a Category 1 hurricane. And then from there, you can see the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale going up to Category 3 would be 111 plus miles per hour. And then 4 and 5, you can see those really higher wind speeds there, of course. Here is our model showing the system just about falling apart as it moves south toward the Cuba area. And one thing I also want to show you really quickly is that we have used Arlene next on the list if we see anything, which we're not expecting to at this point, but next on the list would be Brett, Cindy, and then Dawn. And you may have wondered why it's a tropical depression 2 and then it got upgraded to Arlene. There was a subtropical storm in January off the coast of the northeast U.S. It was determined, though, in May when the National Hurricane Center reassesses things going on, and they decided that was a subtropical system, although at the time it was not designated as such. And by the way, there is a report coming out, but this is about as much as we know about that January system right now. So we'll get you more information when the report comes out from them, which they say will be in maybe a couple months or so. So more information coming on that, but the first named storm of the season, Arlene, still in the Gulf as of right now. 90 degrees in New Orleans. Our temperatures mostly in the 80s to lower 90s. Our evening weather looking pretty nice with that very slightly lower humidity and our temperatures getting into the 70s. And then tonight we have an almost full moon. It will be full officially tomorrow night, but should look pretty awesome tonight. North Shore lows in the 60s, South Shore lows about 75. And then tomorrow, same thing just about. We do have a little higher chance for rain tomorrow with 40% chance. Let me show you with our model really quickly. Tonight, everything looking quiet. This is tomorrow afternoon, starting to see a few of these showers and storms with the peak heating of the day, but by evening and night, we should see it decreasing. And then Sunday is looking quieter, maybe a 10% chance for a stray shower. Now with a little less rain in the afternoon, that could heat us up to maybe 92, maybe even 93 on Sunday. Next week looks very, very typical for this point in the year. Near average temperatures in the upper 80s and about a 30% chance for spotty afternoon storms.